Today's episode of Aquatic Wetline is brought to you by Oasis Aquatics. Find your Oasis today. Find your next fish at oasisaquaticsnj.com. Check out Oasis Aquatics on Facebook and Instagram.
From the hit series Life in the Amazon comes an all-new spin-off focused on animal life centering on the African rivers. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Life in Africa. From the intimidating Nile crocodile with its razor-sharp teeth and its predatory instincts to the gorgeous African cichlids and tropical fish. To the hungry hippos, the mighty lions, friendly zebras, and the tall reticulated giraffes, every animal from Africa will be discussed. Life in Africa goes live right now. Please press start.
Hello everyone, welcome to an all-new episode of Life in Africa. I'm your host, Aqua Alex CARDINALE. Tonight we are traveling to Lake Tanganyika to learn about another world's largest lake. Lake Tanganyika is an African rift lake and it's one of Africa's largest lakes. Lake Tanganyika is home to many different freshwater fish species, including one of my personal favorite fish from Africa, and that would be the Frontosa Cichlid. Frontosas come from Lake Tanganyika. Also, Calvus Cichlids come from Lake Tanganyika, as well as the beautiful Tropheus and many different species of Synodontis Catfish. So tonight on Life in the Amazon, it's all about Lake Tanganyika. I'm going to give you some geography information on Lake Tanganyika, and then we're going to talk about the different freshwater fish species that live in Lake Tanganyika, such as Frontosas and other African cichlids, and the many different Synodontis catfish that call Lake Tanganyika home. We're also going to learn about a man-eating Nile crocodile that calls Lake Tanganyika home. And then we're going to learn about terrapins, and we're going to learn about water cobras, poisonous African snakes that live in Lake Tanganyika. So I hope you all enjoyed today's episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So we're going to start with some geography information on Lake Tanganyika. It is time for social studies here on Life in Africa. So now let's learn about Lake Tanganyika. It is an African Great Lake. It is the second oldest freshwater lake in the world, the second largest by volume, and the second deepest, in all cases after Lake Baikal in Siberia. It is the world's longest freshwater lake. The lake is shared among 4 countries: Tanzania, the Democratic Republic of the Congo, Burundi, and Zambia. with Tanzania 46% and the Democratic Republic of the Congo 40%, possessing the majority of the lake. It drains into the Congo River system and ultimately into the Atlantic Ocean. Lake Tanganyika is situated within the Albertine Rift, the western branch of the East African Rift, and is confined by the mountainous walls of the valley. It is the largest rift lake in Africa and the second largest lake by volume in the world. It is the deepest lake in Africa and holds the greatest volume of fresh water on the continent, accounting for 16% of the world's available fresh water. It extends for 676 kilometers, which is 420 miles in a general north-south direction, and averages 50 kilometers, 31 miles in width. Two main rivers flow into the lake, as well as numerous smaller rivers and streams whose lengths are limited by the steep mountains around the lake. The one major outflow is the Lukugu River, which empties into the Congo River drainage. Precipitation and evaporation plays a greater role than the rivers. At least 90% of the water influx is from rain falling on the lake surface, and at least 90% of the water loss is from direct evaporation. The major river flowing into the lake is the Ruzizi River, formed about 10,000 years ago, which enters the north of the lake from Lake Kivu. The Malgasari River, which is Tanzania's second largest river, enters the east side of Lake Tanganyika. The Malgasari is older than Lake Tanganyika, and before the lake was formed, it probably was a headwater of the Lualaba River, the main Congo River headstream. The lake has a complex history of changing flow patterns due to its high altitude, great depths, slow rate of refill, and mountainous location in a turbulent volcanic area that has undergone climate changes. Apparently, it has rarely in the past had an outflow to the sea. The lake may also have at times had different inflows and outflows, inward flows from a higher Lake Rukwa, access to Lake Malawi, and an exit route to the Nile have all been proposed to have existed at some point in the lake's history. Lake Tanganyika is an ancient lake, one of only 20 more than 1,000,000 years old. Its three basins, which in periods with much lower water levels were separate lakes, are of different ages. The central began to form 9 to 12 million years ago, the northern 7 to 8 million years ago, and the southern 2 to 4 million years ago. The lake's water is alkaline with a pH around 9 at depths of 0 to 100 meters, which translates to 0 to 330 feet. Below this, it is around 8.7, gradually decreasing to 8.3, 8.5 in the deepest part of Tanganyika. Now let's talk about the wildlife that lives in Lake Tanganyika. Lake Tanganyika and associated wetlands are home to Nile crocodiles, including the famous giant Gustav, which we're going to talk about later, Zambian hinged terrapins, serrated hinged terrapins, and pan-hinged terrapins, Storm's water cobra, a threatened subspecies of banded water cobra that feeds mainly on fish, is only found in Lake Tanganyika, where it prefers rocky shores. And we're going to talk about the storm's water cobra in the main event of our show tonight. So, the lake holds at least 250 species of cichlid fish, and undescribed species remain. Almost all, 98% of the Tanganyikan cichlids are endemic to the lake, and it is thus an important biological resource for the study of cetacean in evolution. Some of the endemics do occur slightly into the upper Lukagu River, Lake Tanganyika's outflow, but further spread into the Congo River basin is prevented by psychics. Lukagu has fast-flowing sections with many rapids and water flows and chemistry. Tanganyika's water is alkaline, while the Congo's generally is acidic. The cichlids of the African Great Lakes, including Tanganyika, represent the most diverse extent of adaptive radiation in vertebrates. Although Tanganyika has fewer cichlid species than Lake Malawi and Lake Victoria, which both have experienced relatively recent explosive species radiations, resulting in many closely related species, Lake Tanganyikan cichlids are the most morphologically and genetically diverse. This is linked to the high age of Tanganyika, as it is far older than the other lakes. Tanganyika has the largest number of endemic cichlid genre of all African lakes. Many Tanganyikan cichlids are popular aquarium fish. For example, Frontosa are very popular in the aquarium hobby. Frontosa are one of my favorite African cichlids. Tropheus are a popular aquarium fish. Calvus and Compressus cichlids are very popular as well. All those cichlids come from Lake Tanganyika. Now, Lake Tanganyika is home to more than 80 species of non-cichlid fish, and about 60 of those are endemic. Among the more unusual fish in the lake are the endemic, facultatively brewed parasitic cuckoo catfish, including at least Synodontis grandiopes and Synodontis multipunctuous. And also, there are 15 species of spiny eels, all endemic to its basin, all endemic to the Lake Tanganyikan basin. And that is geographic information and biological information on Lake Tanganyika. Enough of the lecture. Now, let's get to the fun stuff. And let's talk about the animals, the wildlife, and the tropical fish that live in Lake Tanganyika. All right, before we do that, let's check out our live comment and see who is in the house. Someone is watching us on our wonderful Facebook group, Aquarium Obsession, and they say, let's see, there are plenty of different species of Frontosas. Most sought after and most expensive is the Zari Blue Moba Frontosa. Yes, that is definitely true. And I am glad you brought that up because the Blue Mamba Frontosa is my all-time favorite Frontosa. It is my personal Frontosa, but you know what? I love all Frontosa, whether it's the Blue Moba Frontosa, the Burundi, or other variants of Frontosa cichlids. I really appreciate and enjoy all the Frontosa species out there. All right, so right now let's talk about the Lake Tanganyika fish species. And let's talk about the fish species that call Lake Tanganyika Home. And there are many different species of fish that call Lake Tanganyika home. So let's get to our first species of fish that we're going to talk about. And I just briefly talked about them a moment ago. And that is the beautiful Frontosa. Frontosas are absolutely gorgeous. Now, Frontosas can grow up to a foot in length. They are one of the larger cichlids from Lake Tanganyika. Even captive specimens potentially grow to about a foot. They have distinct markings with 5 to 7 black vertical bars adorning a white or blue body and head, and trailing fins with a distinct blue hue. The species also develops a nuchal hump that is more pronounced in older specimens. Frontosas are sexually monomorphic species, although the hump is occasionally more pronounced in males. Frontosa can live over 25 years in captivity. Frontosas are endemic to Lake Tanganyika in East Africa and is widespread in the northern half of the lake. Another species of Frontosa, the gibberosa, inhabits the southern half of the lake. Frontosas generally reside at greater depths, 30 to 50 meters subsurface, than most other cichlids, and they rise to shallow waters in the early morning to feed on shoaling fish. And that is the beautiful Frontosa cichlid. Another popular cichlid from Lake Tanganyika is the Calvus cichlid. And I just started recently researching the Calvus cichlid because when I set up an African cichlid aquarium or two, I definitely would like to do a Lake Tanganyika display with some Frontosa and Calvus cichlids. And then in my other African tank, we'll do a Lake Malawi predatory hap and peacock aquarium. But the Calvus cichlids are a very nice, popular Lake Tanganyika cichlid that are available in the aquarium hobby. The Calvus cichlid grow to 5 inches in length, so they're a medium size. They have an extremely laterally compressed body and a high dorsal fin. Very, very cool cichlid. Another cichlid that is extremely popular from Lake Tanganyika, similar to the Calvus cichlid, and that would be this beautiful fish right here. That would be a Compressus cichlid. The Compressus cichlid grows about 6.5 inches, so it grows to be about an inch and a half larger than a Calvus cichlid, but nonetheless, they are still a very cool cichlid that comes from Lake Tanganyika. So let's check out some of our live comments here. Let's see. We have some viewers on Facebook. We're talking about Frontosa again. I love talking about Frontosa. The Kingma Frontosa is found in the north of Lake Tanganyika, and so is the only 7-bar Frontosa. And Brian says, Black Widow Frontosa are my favorite. The Black Widow Frontosa are actually very, very cool. I do admire the Black Widow Frontosa. Now, a fun fact. The Black Widow Frontosa is a genetic Frontosa. That is very true. It has been created for the aquarium hobby. You will not find Black Widow Frontosa in the wild. And the administrator and founder of Aquarium Obsession wants me to read this, so I will. Josh Watts, thank you for stepping up to protect my privacy while I am in rehab. No problem, Brian. And Brian also says Frontosa fish are ambush predators, but very, very nice. Black Calvus cichlids are extremely slow growing. Wow. Yeah, some fish are slow growing. A lot of the fish that I tend to like tend to be slow growing, like datnoids. So I think it's no coincidence that I like the Calvus cichlid, but that's fine. They're definitely very beautiful. Also, the white Calvus is very slow growing as well. Oh, yeah. Sorry, Matt. I get confused with your name. I'm Matt. Who is Brian? LOL. Sorry about that. I see your stream name comes up as Brian LeMay. I know you're Matt. It just screws with my mind sometimes. But thank you, Matt, for tuning in and participating. It's awesome. All right. So far we've talked about Frontosas. We've talked about Calvus and Compressus cichlids. There's one more species of cichlid that I'm going to talk about that comes from Lake Tanganyika. It is absolutely gorgeous. A lot of people admire them, and that is the Tropheus. I mean, if you look at the picture that I just put up on the screen, you will see how beautiful the Tropheus actually is. That is a beautiful African cichlid. Now, Tropheus is a small genus of at least 6 species of cichlids endemic to Lake Tanganyika in East Africa. The genus is widespread across all regions of Lake Tanganyika, from Burundi in the north to Zambia in the south. Males and females are relatively similar in color, with only subtle sexual dimorphism in the form of the male's larger size. All species are maternal mouth brooders, with the females caring for their eggs and fry in their mouth. This characteristic provides their generic name, Tropheus, which comes from the Greek trophos, which means to nurse, or according to Bollinger, one who rears, brings up, educates. All species of Tropheus are algae grazers and have underslung mouths adapt to rasping algae and microinvertebrates from submerged rocks. Tropheus are relatively popular with aquarium hobbyists due to the beautiful markings and interesting behaviors. One such species is the Tropheus mori. In particular, they have become something of a cult fish within the hobby, in spite of the difficulties involved in keeping species of this genus in captivity. Tropheus, very, very nice fish for sure. Or as the cool kids like to say, for shizzle. All right, so now we talked about cichlids from Lake Tanganyika. One of my favorite fish groups from Lake Tanganyika is the Synodontis group. And there are at least 10 different species of Synodontis cats that are out there. Let's start with the most popular, the cuckoo catfish. Synodontis multipunctuous. I probably mispronounced the scientific name, but whatever. But this is a very cool catfish. They can grow up to 10 inches in length, and they are one of a number of species of upside-down catfish in Lake Tanganyika, which is more famous for its cichlids. This catfish gathers in large schools at depths of about 40 meters, which is 130 feet in the lake. Now, this catfish is notable for its breeding behavior. It is a brood parasite, similar to the cuckoo from which it takes its common name. Lake Tanganyika is home to a number of mouth-brooding cichlids, like the Tropheus, which care for their eggs and young by carrying them in their mouth. The Synodontis catfish use these cichlids as unwitting caretakers for their children. The smell of spawning cichlids excite the Synodontis into spawning, and as the cichlids lay their eggs, the catfish will quickly slip in and eat the eggs before they can be collected by the mother. While while doing so, they also release and fertilize their own eggs. The female cichlid will hastily attempt to scoop up her eggs, and in doing so, will also collect the Synodontis eggs. These eggs will then hatch inside the unwilling adoptive mother's mouth and proceed to eat the cichlid eggs present before being released by the cichlid. This technique removes the burden of parental care from the Synodontis multipunctuus and allows them to breed again sooner. So a very, very cool Synodontis catfish from Lake Tanganyika. Another cool Synodontis from Lake Tanganyika is this Synodontis. And this is called a Synodontis grandiose. Very unique looking Synodontis. It looks a lot different than the regular cuckoo Synodontis, but it's very, very cool. Now, this next Synodontis I see available all the time at Aquascapeonline.com. This is a very interesting looking Synodontis. From what I've seen and what I read online, these guys can get over a foot. And what's so cool about this Synodontis is that they look just like a great white shark. Very, very, very cool. Now, this Synodontis I want to get for my African cichlid aquarium. Can you guys believe it or not? But this is one of the largest growing Synodontis ever. And it comes from Lake Tanganyika. This Synodontis can grow up to 2 feet in length. Not only that, I think they're absolutely cool looking. They look like a giraffe cat, kind of. That's what I really like about them. And then we have the dwarf cuckoo catfish, Synodontis petricola. And this catfish stays a lot smaller than the original cuckoo catfish, which is the Synodontis multipunctuus. Synodontis petricola will only grow to be about 6 inches in length as an adult. And finally, the final Synodontis that we're going to talk about on this episode of Life in Africa is the beautiful Synodontis pauli, or the pauli Synodontis. And there's actually a white version of a pauli Synodontis that is absolutely beautiful as well. Now, as far as how many of these gorgeous Synodontis are popular in the aquarium hobby, I could probably tell you the granulosus, the multipunctuus, the petricola. Those are probably your top 3 that you're going to find in the aquarium hobby. But if I ever come across the one that gets 2 feet, I definitely will purchase it. Some other fish that live in Lake Tanganyika besides cichlids and Synodontis catfish would be air-breathing, air-walking catfish. It would also be an MBU puffer. It would also be 15 different species of freshwater spiny eels. So those are all fish that live in Lake Tanganyika. So let's check out some of our live comments now. All right, so Matt says that firecracker tropheus cichlids are the most sought-after tropheus species. Yes, that is very true. They are very sought after, and for a very good reason. They are very, very beautiful. Very, very cool. And Matt says, I had 6 petricola in my 220-gallon aquarium. They came up with a 60-gallon aquarium I bought. They were sick as could be with it when I first got them, and I quarantined them for 2 months to get them totally healthy before putting them in my big tank. That's awesome. So they had a great life with you in a 220. That is very, very awesome. I'm glad to hear that. I'm a big fan of Synodontis. Synodontis are one of my favorite catfish that come from Africa. Well, now that we learned about the freshwater fish species that call Lake Tanganyika home, let's learn animals. Tonight, we've got 3 aquatic animals that we're going to discuss. One of them is, well, actually, they're all reptiles. All three of them are reptiles. So these are Lake Tanganyika aquatic animals. And our first animal that we're going to talk about, our first reptile that we're going to talk about, is an infamous crocodile that lives in Lake Tanganyika. He is known to be a human eater, and his name is Gustav. So let's see a picture of Gustav, and let's learn about the man-eating crocodile, the man-eating Nile crocodile that calls Lake Tanganyika home. This is the Nile crocodile Gustav, who was known for eating humans and even attacking and trying to eat large animals such as hippos and lions. So let's learn about Gustav right now. And by the way, Gustav is a very interesting name. Gustav is a large male Nile crocodile in Burundi who is notorious for being a man-eater, rumored to have killed as many as 200 to 300 people on the banks of the Ruzizi River and the northern shores of Lake Tanganyika, between which he roams. Though the actual number of victims is difficult to verify, he has attained near mythical status and is greatly feared by people in the region. Since Gustav has not been captured, his exact length and weight are unknown, but in 2002, it was stated that he could be easily more than 20 feet long and weigh more than 2,000 pounds. He was estimated to be around 100 years old in order to achieve such outstanding size. However, further, more careful observation of Gustav revealed a complete set of teeth when he opened his mouth. Since a 100-year-old crocodile should be nearly toothless, according to the documentary, he was estimated to probably be no older than 60 and likely still growing. One of Gustav's notable characteristics is the 3 bullet scars on his body. His right shoulder blade was also found to be deeply wounded. Circumstances surrounding the 4 scars are unknown. Scientists and herpetologists who have studied Gustav claim that his uncommon size and weight impede his ability to hunt the species' usual agile prey, such as fish, antelope, and zebra, forcing him to attack larger animals such as hippopotamus, large buffalo, and to some extent humans. Despite frequently being referred to as a man-eater, a popular local warning says he often leaves his victim's corpse uneaten. The documentary film also stated that since crocodiles can go several months without eating, Gustav can afford to select his prey carefully. In 2000, Gustav appeared in the Ruzizi River near Lake Tanganyika. 5 years ago, in a 2019 article about travel in Burundi, a writer for Travel Africa magazine reported learning that Gustav had been killed. It is not said how he was killed or by whom, and no photographic evidence has ever surfaced, leaving these claims dubious until more concrete evidence is brought forward. And that is the mythical man-eating crocodile that is rumored to live in Lake Tanganyika. A very cool Gustav Nile crocodile. All right, so before we get to our next animal, let's go ahead and check our chat for some live comments. Matt says, I've changed profiles to make it easier for you to figure out who the hell I am. LOL. This is my monster fish personality. Laugh my ass off. I identify as an albino red-tailed cat. That's funny, Matt. An albino red-tailed cat. But hey, I love red-tailed cats. And Matt says, feed them, President Joe Biden. Feed Gustav, the man-eating Nile Crocodile, President Joe Biden. I 1,000% agree with you. Joe Biden is absolutely the worst president in the history of the United States. But that's all I'll say about Joe Biden, because I think he's going to lose this next election, hopefully. That comes from Lake Tanganyika, and is a species of very attractive terrapins. Let's talk about the serrated terrapin right here, right now on Life in the Amazon, Lake Tanganyika. So the serrated terrapin is native to East Africa and southern species of serrated terrapin. The preferred natural habitats of terrapins are tropical lakes and rivers, where it can often be seen basking on logs, rocks, or mud banks, or even on the backs of sleeping hippos. The terrapin eat water snails, soft weed, and insects. That is a very cool turtle, if you ask me. A very attractive serrated terrapin. All right, right now we're going to go ahead and take a quick intermission, which is being brought to us by the Aquatic Wetline supporters. Oasis Aquatics, Aquascapeonline.com, Little Egypt Aquarium Club, Fish Keeping for Kids, and the wonderful Facebook fish keeping group that I am an administrator on, Aquarium Obsession. When we come back from this intermission, it's our main event for tonight's show, and we're going to talk about the water cobra, the Lake Tanganyika banded water cobra. So don't go anywhere. There's plenty more Life in Africa coming your way right after this intermission, and a word from our supporters, and a reminder to check out this Friday Live. Aqua Alex and Life in Africa, episode 8 continues right after this intermission.
So my name is Tom. I started fish keeping when my grandfather dug a fish tank out of the attic when I was about 5 years old.
So my name's Matt. I'm part of Oasis Aquatics. Been doing this for a long time. Started when I was about 7 years old. 22 years of doing this business.
I'm 29 years old now. I never stopped. There wasn't a day in between where I did not think about fish keeping.
I was doing a vet tech job for many years. Eventually I stopped that because this is my passion in my life.
Matt and I have known each other far too long, as many friendships should be.
And you're like, you know what? We need a fish store. There's no fish stores around here. So we had to make it easy access for everyone, to have many varieties, from the little small stuff for everyone to the monster fish keeper people.
No matter what it is that you're looking to do, we can provide it for you.
Aquascapeonline is proud to support Aqua Alex CARDINALE and Aquatic Wetline. Aquascapeonline is an online exotic freshwater fish shop owned by Pedro Villegas, who specializes in piranhas, stingrays, cichlids, catfish, and more. Aquascapeonline has been monster fish keepers' go-to place for exotic large growing predatory fish for over a decade. Looking for a specific type of piranha? Aquascape carries both Pygocentris and Serrasalmus. We also have Exodon tetras, wolf fish, African tiger fish, and other toothy aquatic monsters. Check us out today. www.aquascapeonline.com.
Little Egypt Aquarium Club is a proud supporter of Aqua Alex CARDINALE and Aquatic Wetline. Little Egypt Aquarium Club is an aquarium club in Red Bud, Illinois, but it's also an online tropical fish supplies website. On the Little Egypt Aquarium Club website, you'll find tropical fish food such as repashy and flakes. You'll also find medications and breeding supplies and even live angel fish. Everything and anything you may need for your freshwater aquarium can be found at Little Egypt Aquarium Club. Orders over $200 get free shipping, Little Egypt Aquarium Club is giving a 10% discount by using the code ALEX. Remember, save 10% by using coupon code ALEX. Little Egypt Aquarium Club, my Shopify. Come.
Do you have kids who want to get a fish tank? Do your kids want to enter the aquarium hobby? The aquarium hobby is very relaxing and rewarding, but it can be quite the undertaking for a first-time hobbyist. Luckily, there is one young man who was once in your shoes. He decided to research and learn about the aquarium hobby, and used his experiences to write and publish a book for future kids entering the aquarium hobby. Introducing Fish Keeping for Kids, written and published by Brian Conway. Everything you need to know about the aquarium hobby in one book. Fish Keeping for Kids is a guide to keeping fish and other aquatic creatures. It uses easy-to-read language and images to help the information be easily understood. While it was written especially for kids 8 years old and up, it is a good guide for people of any age. This book covers all the basics and some intermediate-level topics to help someone get started and learn more about caring for fish and other aquatic animals. What do you get from Fish Keeping for Kids? Friendly. It was written by a kid for kids. Simple. Written in easy-to-understand language for kids and adults. Informative. Full of charts, graphs, and diagrams to make it easy to follow along with. Complete. All of the things someone should know when they start fish keeping. For more information and to purchase a copy of Fish Keeping for Kids, please visit www.fishkeepingforkids.com. That's fishkeepingforkids.com.
Do you have an obsession for aquariums and tropical fish? Well, so does Aqua Alex CARDINALE, and that's why he is now an admin on the wonderful Facebook fish keeping and aquarium group Aquarium Obsession. It's also why I'm so happy to tell you about this group. It is a place for every fish keeper, whether you are keeping freshwater or saltwater or even goldfish. We also welcome reptile and amphibian enthusiasts. Aquarium Obsession is one of the only Facebook fish keeping groups where our members come first, and we want them to feel part of our fish family. Members are encouraged to participate in group activities such as Aquatic YouTube Thursdays. Fish tubers are welcome to share any of their fish keeping or reptile videos on Thursdays. We also have knowledgeable staff including Aqua Alex. So what are you waiting for? Come find out what the obsession is about our group. Check out Aquarium Obsession on Facebook today and join our group. Type Aquarium Obsession in the search bar or go to this link, www.facebook.com/groups/JOMF group.
This weekend is WrestleMania 40 weekend. Therefore, there will be no Saturday Live with Alex Cardinale this week. However, the show must go on. There will be a Mania Friday Live with Alex Cardinale celebrating WrestleMania 40, and it airs live this Friday, April 5, 2024 at a special start time of 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. There will be appearances by Aqua Alex Cardinale, Chef Alex, WWE fan Alex Cardinale, and Sergeant Slaughter. Sergeant Slaughter will have a triple set of facts. He will have facts on Walt Disney World, McDonald's, and since Sergeant loves the WWE, he'll have facts on its biggest event of the year, WrestleMania. WWE fan Alex Cardinale will preview the WrestleMania 40 match card and discuss the best moments of WWE Hall of Fame inductee's career. Paul Heyman. Oasis Aquatics featured fish is the blue moba Frontosa Cichlid. Aquascapeonline featured fish is the violet line piranha. Aqua Alex's featured fish is the Serrated Catfish. The animal of the week is the stinky skunk. Learn about the skunk. Plus, how did the New York Yankees do in their first few weeks of the 2024 regular season? Who will be on Karens of the Week? All that and more. Live Friday, April 5, 2024 at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific on YouTube channel The Real Alex Cardinale.
Welcome back to Life in the Amazon, and tonight we are talking about Lake Tanganyika. And before our intermission, I discussed some geographical information on Lake Tanganyika, and I discussed the fish species cichlids and Synodontis Catfish that call Lake Tanganyika home. And we talked about Gustav, the man-eating Nile Crocodile that calls Lake Tanganyika home. And we talked about Serrated Terrapins. Now it's time for our main event, and we're going to talk about our final aquatic animal that calls Lake Tanganyika home, and it is a species of banded water coral snakes. Or excuse me, not coral snakes. Coral snakes come from South America, so it's not a coral snake. I meant to say a banded cobra snake, a banded water cobra snake. So here is some information on the beautiful banded water cobra snake. It has a really interesting name. Once the image comes up on the screen, I'll tell you the interesting name. The interesting name for this snake is the storm water cobra. I'm not sure why it goes by the name storm water cobra, but it's an interesting name. But it is a rather interesting venomous snake. So let's learn about the storm's water cobra. The species is one of the two species of water cobra in the world, the other one being the Congo water cobra. It is a large, heavy-bodied snake with a short, broad, and flat head with an indistinct canthus and distinct from the neck. It has medium-sized dark eyes with round pupils. The body is cylindrical. The tail is long. The scales are smooth and glossy in 21 to 23 rows at mid-body. Adults grow to an average of 1.4 to 2.2 meters, which is 4.6 to 7.2 feet in length, but they can grow to a maximum of 2.8 meters, which is 9.2 feet long. Scales are smooth, indicating the largely aquatic life of this species. It is capable of spreading a narrow yet impressive hood. Body colors are mostly grayish brown or reddish brown with black bands all along the body. The belly is pale yellow. This species of banded water cobras is found in parts of Central and Western Africa, in Burundi, Cameroon, Central African Republic, Democratic Republic of Congo, Equatorial Guinea, Gabon, Rwanda, and the province of Cambanda in Angola, as well as along the Burundian, Tanzanian, and Zambian shores of Lake Tanganyika. It is largely an aquatic species and rarely is found far away from water. It can be found along lakes and rivers in forested and well-wooded savanna terrain where cover is sufficient. Most commonly along lowland forested, bushy, or wooded banks of lakes, rivers, and streams. It is a very secretive species and is seldom encountered by humans. It is active by day and night, though it is usually more active by day. This largely aquatic snake spends most of its time in the water. It is an excellent swimmer and is capable of remaining underwater for up to 10 minutes after diving to depths of 25 meters, 82 feet. It is a slow mover on land and tends to hide among rocks, in holes, or overhanging tree roots at the shoreline. It also makes use of any man-made structures, such as bridges and jetties, to hide. It is generally not aggressive, and if approached in water, it will swim away swiftly, and on land will attempt to escape into water. If threatened on land, it will rear up and spread its narrow yet prominent hood, and it may hiss loudly, but it tends not to make any forward movements. It will only bite when provoked. So to be bitten by a storm's water cobra, you have to severely provoke it, and you definitely don't want to do that because they are very venomous. It preys almost exclusively on fish, but they may also prey on frogs, toads, and other amphibians. The venom of this species is not well studied, but it is believed that the venom is dangerously neurotoxic, like that of most elapids. So I definitely I bit and stung by a water cobra. Very, very creepy and scary, but respectable snake. All right. And that is this episode of Life in Africa. I hope you enjoyed learning about Lake Tanganyika and the Lake Tanganyika wildlife. I certainly did. My favorite fish from Lake Tanganyika were Frontosas, Tropheus, and the Calvus Cichlids. So I had a great time discussing the Lake Tanganyikan wildlife. So I hope you guys enjoyed the show as much as I did. On the next episode of Life in Africa in a couple of weeks, on our 9th episode of Life in Africa, we're going to talk about the Lake Victorian wildlife. So on the next episode of Life in Africa, get ready to learn about Lake Victoria. Well, I want to thank you all for watching this edition of Life in Africa. For our 7 previous episodes of Life in Africa, just go to my YouTube channel, The Real Alex Cardinale, and go to my Life in Africa playlist where you can see the 7 previous episodes, including our last episode, which was on Lake Malawi. Happy fish keeping, everyone. Have a great rest of your day or evening, and thank you for watching, and thank you for learning about Lake Tanganyika. Goodbye from Green Acres, Florida. Aqua Alex signing off.
Thank you very much for watching this live stream of the Real Alex Cardinale YouTube channel. I hope you enjoyed the show. I want to thank you all for your patronage for the last 10 years. It's going to be incredible riding into the future with more awesome live streams and videos. Aqua Alex Cardinale, Chef Alex Cardinale, WWE fan Alex Cardinale, Detective Alex Cardinale, and the Real Alex Cardinale would like to thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed this live stream, please smash that like button. If you are new to my YouTube channel, please hit that subscribe button and become a legendary viewer and a legendary Cardinale. Check out the Real Alex Cardinale on social media. Facebook Alex Cardinale, American Alex. Instagram.com/Alex Cardinale 93. Fish keepers, please join our amazing Facebook fish keeping group Aquarium Obsession. Check out and support Oasis Aquatics, our amazing supporter since July of 2023. www.oasisaquaticsnj.com. Follow Oasis Aquatics on Facebook and Instagram. Have a good night and thanks for watching. Stay legendary.